ordinary woman who has personally overcome challenge in life to find inner happiness with her profound wisdom and dedicated understanding of culture and Eastern perspective on happiness. Vero will bring us fresh and profound insight on the topic of happiness. And I cannot wait to hear about her experience. Um, Again, remember, we love hearing from you, our amazing audience. Feel free to share your comments, questions, and thoughts as we go along. Let's make this an interactive and enriching conversation. And without further ado, let's start by exploring our personal backgrounds and the past that led us to the MA in happiness study. Vero, would you like to begin by sharing your journey with us?
Sure. And thank you so much for inviting me to kick this off with you. Very excited. So I think like a lot of us, we kind of sort of found this at a point in our lives when maybe we wanted something different. And I had gone through some dark nights of the soul that led to a bit of like a spiritual kind of awakening. And what I was doing in my day-to-day job didn't feel as fulfilling anymore. And I just wanted to, I was searching for more of like a sense of purpose in life. And I was starting to do a lot of, I work in advertising. And so I was doing a lot of different like wellness activities and had started getting into meditation. And so when I was looking to see how I could have more of an impact in my career and with others, I was searching for different programs, and nothing really resonated with me. And like I thought of like maybe at one point an MBA, I was like, no, that's not interesting. And I thought, well, maybe I'll do something with social work or psychology, and it just didn't feel right in my soul. And I kind of always have this thing where, I go towards what feels warm. And I came across this article that said, Centenary University offering the first ever US master's degree in happiness. And as soon as I read that, like the reaction was complete warmth in my soul. And I was like, this is it. And so I read about it and I applied and joined in.
That's awesome. Um, so like what would you feel when you see the advertise? It's like I heard a lot of people saying that they saw the advertise and then immediately they want to join in. But what would you feel like? What would be your instant moment when you saw the post and you signed up?
So, I think people come from different ways. Like I, for example, wasn't familiar with Tal and his work and the Happiness Studies Academy. And so that was completely new to me. All I saw was this Centenary University sort of offering this opportunity to further your studies in a subject that really resonated with me. And it was talking about, whole being happiness and the practical applications to it. And, we were going to be diving into philosophy and psychology and things that I knew I could incorporate not only into my personal life, but also into my job as to what I was currently doing. Like I knew that I wanted to make a change, but you can't go from like, here to there with one step. Like I needed to, how can I make the best of the situation that I was in right now and slowly work to get myself there. And so when I came across the article about the master's degree, it just sort of had all the pieces to what I wanted to do.
That's wonderful to hear. Often people struggle to choose their major, and then after their major, then they struggle to decide whether or not they should take MA and like go more in education, go further. So how do you feel when you first start the program? Like, did you feel overwhelming? Because I know a lot of us feel overwhelming
Yeah.
because the amount of homework that we had to do and reading. So how do you feel when you first saw the syllabus and everything? Thank you.
It was really overwhelming. you know, I've been out of school for a long time, and just that practice of the readings um and not just reading something, like I love to read, but it's reading and, digesting it and sitting with it and taking notes and, really doing that deep reading. And that I hadn't done in a while, learning how to do APA format citations. I remember I had a 1 hour sit down with Whitney, who was in my hat group the first semester, and she was like teaching me everything. I'm like, how to take notes, how to do citations. I was like so overwhelmed. And it was, I think at first you feel like there's no way you're going to be able to get into this routine and keep up with all the readings and, start reading things that are just kind of like, foreign to you. But, your body just has a way of like adapting to it, and you start adapting to the schedule. I think it's the same with anything when we want to start going to the gym, and you're like, how am I going to find time to go to the gym? Or you want to start meditating. How am I going to find time to meditating? But I think once you just start doing it, your life starts building around it, and you start realizing how much more impactful it is in your life, and you start making more time for it. So definitely was overwhelming. I think those of us who are on here, all of us know, like it's in the very beginning, it was a lot.
Yeah, well, I feel you.
Did you feel the same?
Um, at first, I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, it's overwhelming," and then personally, because I have never taken any MA program before, um, so I heard all the people saying that, especially people who had taken other kind of MA program before, so that I was like, okay, it's interesting. Um, but um, but I kind of I feel like everybody had the same situation for maybe like about 3 months, 4 months, and after that, everybody
Yeah.
learned to manage. Yeah. So have you ever heard of Tao before?
Mm-mm.
So
No, I
how do
didn't.
you feel when you discover who he is? And when did you discover who he is?
So when I saw the article, I was like, okay, let me look into who's going to be the professor, and started reading about his background and um, the books that he wrote, and I ordered a couple off of Amazon, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, definitely it's somebody that knows what he's talking about and has a lot of experience. And so that was another draw for me once I started realizing just how much he can share with us and how much he's already done within this field. So that was really exciting to see. And started learning about like the Happiness Studies Academy, and wasn't familiar with that at all, hearing some of his lectures. And so that was really exciting to be able to like, oh, okay, there's somebody here that's pretty well established within this field that, we're able to really get up close and personal and learn from him, and, start this new adventure together, and take this, leap of faith. And so it was really exciting for me to find out that he was going to be the one doing it once I got to know him. But you were familiar with him, right?
No, not at
Oh, you
all.
weren't either? Oh, okay.
No. So the only person who knows how I would say that is Ben. Because Ben learned about how like 13, 14 years ago, but he couldn't join first of all like Harvard, and then at that time he came to the US a few years before he discovered how. So at that time he couldn't join because he cannot join Harvard University, and then he did not have enough fund to go there either. So the dream was buried until 13, 14 years ago. Hi,
Mm.
Julia. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us again. So this is the question for Vero again, for especially when you know Tao, when you discover Tao, and then when you are already in the program, how does Tao approach to happiness study integrate positive psychology principle?
Um, so I think what tall, I mean, I wasn't, this whole sort of field of positive psychology and everything was very foreign and new to me. So I wasn't at all familiar with it. But once I started learning about learning about it and then seeing how Tall taught and everything that he focused on about, sort of accepting the situation where you're at. And this is the being in that present moment, being mindful of, where we are right here and not necessarily, diving too much into the problems. And yeah, they're there. It's not like kind of bypassing it. And I remember when he started, he talked a lot about this idea of like, toxic positivity and just even the struggle he had sometimes with the name of the happiness because he didn't want it come across like that. And I really appreciated that because I also, having sometimes when you like hit rock bottom, that, it's definitely not about toxic positivity. It's about like learning to go through that fire and using that as fuel. And so I like his approach in that sense where it is understanding, what has happened, what has led you to this part where you are, and accepting it. And now what tools can we give you to create a better future for yourself? Accepting kind of everything that you are in the moment.
So he's known for the spy model. Have you heard of the spy model before?
Mm-mm.
And no, okay. How do you feel when you learn about the spy model?
I loved it. I thought it was really fascinating about like doing little checkpoints throughout your life because, you know, happiness tends to just be seen as an emotion. And so it's like, are you happy? Are you not happy? And so this idea of the spiral model that you can kind of see happiness from all the different areas of your life, spiritual and physical and intellectual, relational, and emotional. Um, it helps you to understand that there is a bigger piece of what this whole being happiness is, and how can you um, check in with yourself and create different opportunities to increase your happiness and not dependent on just being an emotion because emotions, they come and go. If one day you're happy, the next day you're gonna be sad. Like you always have that duality of the emotion. So knowing that you can work on your spiritual practice, you can work on your, moving your body, you can work on what you're reading, who you're hanging out with, all these things are going to add to your level of happiness. That to me was really exciting to kind of see it from that perspective.
Yeah, this is um this is wonderful journey, and I learned a lot from him too. Talk about what we learn in the program because we have 18 weeks, 18 months, sorry,
18
to learn. Um, what would be your main focus? Because I love very much like every week, whatever he give out to us, I love the material, I love the teaching. But I found some of the teachings work better for me. So what would be your like your best choice of practice when you want to like when you want to apply that into your life? Thank you.
So, I mean, there is so much to choose from. I mean, those that know me kind of know I'm sort of very much focused on the spiritual path. And so that to me has been my anchor in all of this. And when we started the program, I think it was even the first semester where the assignments were doing different meditations and learning how to be more mindful and um, putting in rituals in your practice and a lot of the things that I was already doing and seeing that this is what he's talking about and this is what he's promoting people and encouraging people to do, like that was fascinating to me. And so it was nice to learn different techniques throughout the 18 months, but the spirituality part, the meditations, um, the learning about the different philosophers within spirituality. I know right now we're talking a lot about Lao Tzu and our deep learning, like all of those pieces is really what connected me the most. How about for yourself?
I love Lao Shu too. Um, I have heard of Lao Shu when I was in my 20s, and every time I went to the library, I saw Tao Te Ching,
Mm.
but I couldn't. I couldn't understand. Like I knew I could understand, but at the same time, I don't understand at all until after we get to learn more about Lao Shu and then the Buddha and Hongzhi and other wise men from the east and from the west. Then suddenly nowadays, after I get a chance to read Lao Shu code, and I was like, okay, I understand it. But it also took me like 10, 20 years later to understand Lao Shu. And I would not say I understand it completely, but at least I can understand the idea of it. And it makes me so proud of myself.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah.
were actually, Julie and I were talking about it, that, it's one thing to read about him at one point in your life and then like live all these experiences, go through something like we did with this master's program and being able to dive deep and then, read about him again. It just gives you a whole different perspective.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about yourself. But we just came straight to, like all of this question. Um, could you share with us a little bit more about yourself, like who you are before this program and then who you are now?
Hmm. That's, that's a loaded question.
Take it
You
easy.
know, who who are we, It's the essence of life. You know, I guess the what led me to here was, gosh, how do you answer that question? So what led me to here, well, my family's from Colombia, so start there. But I grew up in the US and I had a lot of, I kind of mentioned earlier, a lot of situations that kind of led me to my dark night of the soul. And that time period really just kind of broke me open. And I like to say that it was really challenging, but at the same time, this fire that you go through when you lose everything. And you have to kind of build yourself back up. And it makes you see life differently. And through meditation is where I found I was able to kind of slowly put my life back together through meditation, coming across different authors and different philosophers and different ways of thinking. And it helped me to make peace from all these broken pieces of my life. And so it led me to this place of just wanting to make a big impact and having a more profound experience in my life. And what I went through was something that was just so, I had gone through it so on my own that I wanted to be able to have tools that I could help walk others through the fire. And part of that experience led me to India. I went to an ashram there a couple of years ago, and then since then I've gone back and I've been initiated. And the ashram life is helped me to sort of see. It was really interesting because I ended up doing my first final project of the first semester, the second semester, the first final project that we had to do. I ended up doing it on the ashram, and it made me realize like the ashram life just brings together all the Spire principles together in one place, and you're able to sort of see everybody kind of live in a more mindfully, live more consciously, the way you're eating, the way you're speaking, what you're talking about, you're meditating, or just kind of living this life together. And so that also helped me kind of put my life a little bit more in alignment with what I felt was my truest self. Um, and then that eventually kind of led me to taking this master's program, which is hopefully providing me more tools to be able to, help others that maybe also feel lost on their journey, feel alone, are going through their own fire and able to be, a light for others.
I feel like a lot of people need that. After watching this recording, maybe you will find some people who want to learn more about meditation. And you mentioned about India. Um, you went to India, and then did you also go to Bhutan or
Mm-mm.
no? Yeah.
No, no. Have you been to India? Speaking of,
Mm.
hi, Ragini.
No, I would love to. I would love to go to India together. Maybe all of us can go together.
Yes,
Um,
we'll go and visit Ragini over there, have
yeah,
lunch.
we can visit Virginia and then we can go to the place where you went to and learn about meditation and other things. But
Yeah,
before that,
I've thought about maybe like seeing if people kind of want to get together and doing some sort of retreat at the ashram or organizing something. So, um, if there's an interest, I'll definitely put something together and we can all experience that.
yeah, I saw a lot of chat on the chat box. So remember, we love hearing from you, our amazing audience. So feel free to share your comments, questions, and thoughts as we go along. And let's make this an interactive and enriching a conversation. So don't hesitate if you want to share something with Vero and us. You can raise your hand or you can chat in the chat box. Okay, so can you tell us more about your experience when you go to India? Because I know that you learn a lot from there, and when you Zoom call us, I also feel the video, like the energy, from all the way from India to the US. Thank you.
Yeah, it was funny because it was every time we would have like a semester, every theme of the semester, and I'm sure it was like this for other people, but like every theme of the semester was so reflective of like what was going on in my life at that time as well. And but yeah, so I took both times when I was in India, we were still having our classes. So I would have to call in and it would be at like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock from India time. And, there's no Wi-Fi in the rooms. You only have Wi-Fi, from the main office, which is separate from the whole ashram. And obviously the office is closed at that time. So I'd be sitting outside on like a little bench, somehow connecting to the Wi-Fi and like bundled up, trying to listen and still be a part of the whole experience. Um, and it was just wonderful to be able to like the first time I was there, for example, Tal was talking about all the different all the different pranayamas, diaphragmatic breathing, Nadi Shodhanam, and he sent us articles on like different yogic breaths, and it was really cool to read about it. And then when I would hang up, and then the next day we would take like a philosophy of yoga or philosophy of the basics of pranayama at the ashram, and then the teachers there would be doing it at all the different techniques. So I'd be reading about it, and then I would actually be doing it with all these teachers at the ashram, and it was like fascinating to see how they incorporate all they not only do they incorporate, but how important pranayama is to preparation for meditation, where a lot of times we'll just, a lot of times we think about like yoga as just doing, asanas in a class, and then you leave and shavasana comes and a lot of people like pick up their stuff and leave. But we learned at the ashram the importance of everything you do throughout your day is to help you have a longer meditation practice. And when you're in meditation is when you're in that stillness and you're able to sort of hear that voice from within. And so, you do your asanas to move your body, you do shavasana to relax your body, you do pranayama to start the breath and the flow of air throughout your body. And then you sit in, your head, neck, and trunk aligned in proper alignment, and then you're able to meditate in a deeper way. And so it was really fascinating to kind of like learn this stuff from the master's program and then be in an environment where we were doing it and practicing it together.
So Julia said that basic pranayama practice seem to be easier for non-meditator to
Yeah.
get started on a more formal meditation practice. I I don't think I have done pranayama practice before. Can you share with us more about pranayama practice?
Yeah. And so, the importance of pranayama, when you think about it, like we can go without shelter, we can go without, food for a certain time, we can go without anything, but you can't really go without breath. And if you don't have breath in your life, that's, pranayama is the life force. And so learning how to really breathe and use your pranayama. So Tal talked about it in, I think it was in second semester. He talked about how the importance of diaphragmatic breathing, the body's most natural way of breathing, where it's from the belly and not from the chest. And so if you look at babies and puppies, like everyone's breathing from the belly because it's just the most natural way. But throughout life, as we start getting stressed out, that air and that breath starts coming from our chest. And so when you think about when you're in a stressful moment, you're like, you're breathing from here like that. And so the breath is like shorter and, it's more up here. And so what happens is throughout life, we tend to stay with our breathing up here, which causes our body to feel like it's in a constant like state of anxiety and stress. And so the importance of pranayama is to help that flow of breath through your body. And even starting with just the basic diaphragmatic breathing, the belly breath. And as you inhale through the nostrils, you're pushing your belly out. And then as you exhale, you pull your belly button in. And so if you can do that, then the count of like, just say four in, four out, like that alone can automatically calm you down. Do you want to do one? Should we do a couple? Okay. But if
Sure.
everyone wants to join us, we'll take, so everybody just like sit up straight. Okay. And then we're going to inhale through the nose for 4 as you fill that belly with air. And then exhale through the nose as you pull the belly button in. And then we're going to do that again. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then one more time. Inhale and exhale. And so sometimes just even doing 3 belly breaths. I don't know, can you feel it? Like even that's just enough.
Mm, yeah. And we learn about breath in our master
Mm-hmm.
program as well.
Yep. We did a
Mm,
whole, he did a whole teaching on breathing and the importance of breathing, the different breathing techniques. Yeah.
yeah. Did you learn all of that before the MA program?
No. And then through the MA program and then the practical application at the ashram, I realized how much I was breathing through my chest. And,
Mm,
even if you just, put your own belly in your one hand on your belly, one hand in your chest, you're like, oh, wow, when I'm breathing, most of the movement was coming out of here. And so that's why I was kind of always in this constant state of like anxiety.
mm,
So when Tal talked about it, about having that diaphragmatic belly breathing, and then able to practice it was really powerful.
mm. And so is that the practice that you just shared with us, is that the most simple breathing technique that you could recommend to everybody? Like,
Yes, diaphragmatic breathing, simple, basic, is the best one you could do at any
mm,
moment.
mm,
And there's so many other breathing techniques that we were taught, that Tal had gone into as well. But I think that diaphragmatic breathing is, and he referenced that throughout various moments throughout the semester as well.
mm. I also learned another type of breathing. Instead of like pushing, or like instead of making our belly going up, I simply just like compress our belly and like suck in the air and then let it go.
Mm.
So I think that's also one of the type of breathing that we learn in the program as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you practice? So you do practice pranayama
Now
because you
and
said you
then,
did. Yeah.
well, it's just because the word pranayama is so is newer to me.
Mm.
So, but then I also learn about qi, like
Yeah.
qigong and qi.
Hmm.
Um, so I guess it's another form of we don't call it pranayama, but we call it qi. Um, and I learned it from my qigong teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. And which was one of the ones that Tal actually also recommended, and when he gave us different options of breathing techniques or meditations and YouTube videos to check out. I remember that was one of the ones.
Yeah. Um, it, well, just so everybody who listened to the show would know, we learn a lot. We have a lot of material, like Vera mentioned. Just the breathing along, we have like the whole week of learning. Um, we actually, I think, more than 1 week of learning how to breathe or like about the breathing, and there's like the sign behind the breathing as well.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Where are we? Well, it's on my Facebook account. Usually streaming on my Facebook account, but then after that, I will delete this video. But the recording that we are recording right now, and yet we use for like the have promotion purpose for the MA program. So we can get to know, our graduate, and we can get to know a little bit like the story behind of each person. Why do they decide to sign up to, for the first MA program? Because not everybody know about Tao, and then like the happiness study is so new. We are not uh we are not yet just begin the journey yet. We now just creating a path, you know. So somebody had to say something, and I feel like why not us? We can start spreading the word of happiness out, and it seems like it's aligned with what the world want to do right now. So Ben has a question. What advice would you give someone seeking to explore their own spiritual path towards happiness? Thank you, Ben.
What advice would you give Stephen? Oh, great question. Um, I think the spiritual path is so different for everyone. Everyone's on a different journey. Eventually, sort of it all leads to the same source. So I wouldn't necessarily get caught up on, does it have to be like, one path or another, or whatever. For me, the spiritual path is whatever brings you peace within your soul. And so if there is um, I would start like reading different authors that are within this place, within this field, and seeing if anything resonates with you. And my number one recommendation is meditation. Meditation, meditation, meditation. It was it can be very daunting. I get it. I used to never meditate. People would be like, "Oh, let's go meditate." And I'd be like, "Absolutely not. I'm not going to meditate. I can't." I would sit there and try and meditate, and my mind would just be like, pinging all over the place. And I just never, ever saw myself as a meditator. And then, you just get to a point where, at least for me, I just got like sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I knew I needed to do something different. And I just sat down and meditated. I was like, let me just give this thing a try. And I learned that it's not the length of time you do. Don't get thrown off on like, oh, I have to do 20 minutes or I have to do 30 minutes. It's the consistency. And if you can sit there and use a simple guided meditation and just do it for 5 minutes, great. You did it for 5 minutes. And then tomorrow I'll do another 5 minutes. And then maybe after a week of 5 minutes, your body was like, the alarm will go off and you're like, oh, wait, that was 5 minutes already? I think tomorrow I'm going to do 10 minutes. Okay, great, do 10 minutes. Like, but the point is just doing it every single day. And I think the more you meditate, the more you start connecting with your inner self. Because, as we learned it, we're so much, and we even talked about this on Monday, like we're so bombarded. We're in this world of like social media and 24-hour news channels and this, and like just constant bombardment of like information and just everything so external that we never give ourselves the time to just sort of like sit in silence and in stillness. And it's within that silence and stillness that we're able to really connect with ourselves. And that's what spirituality is. Spirituality is like connecting with your true self and knowing who you are and not sort of depending on like the family and your friends and the external world to tell you who you are. It's just giving yourself that moment. So for me, it's what I advice would give is, explore different authors, see different points of view, and meditate.
That's wonderful to hear. And I feel like the world need to have a reminder, especially we are so busy, We need like you, we need every one of us to remind each other to meditate or at least like just like give ourselves 1 second to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when we did those 3 breaths, like in your day, the rest of your day is probably going to be really busy and, running, you have your baby and you have your family and you have your friends and you have, TV and you have social media. Just those 3 breaths sometimes are the only 3 moments that someone has in their day to just not do anything else. And so it's so powerful to just take time for yourself and be in that safe space of stillness.
Yeah. Um, another question from Ben. Can you share a specific moment or experience where you felt a deep sense of spiritual happiness? Thank you, Ben.
Thanks. And the ashram. When I think back on, sometimes we'll be in different meditations that people will be like, oh, think back to a moment when you're at most peace, or think of a moment that, brings you a lot of happiness. And for me, it's meditating on the roof of one of the buildings within the Himalayas, just feeling the energy of the place and, knowing how life unfolded to get me to this moment where it was so far from who I used to be. And there was no way I would ever envision myself there. But, when you're just kind of like being in the moment, I think that's sort of like what we learned as well within the program, the idea of mindfulness and consciousness and just being aware of like being in that moment and like accepting every moment for what it is and allowing life to just unfold accordingly. Like sometimes you never know where life's going to take you and the opportunities and, signing up for this program and applying to be in this master's degree. And then, finding myself in India and then meeting all of you people. And then we were at the retreat and I was able to lead a meditation. Like things just start going boom, 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 falling into place. And so many times we find ourselves like, you know, desperate or like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But, you know, as we're talking about Lao Tzu and energetic learning, like being like water, allowing life to just unfold. And so, I went a little bit off topic, but that ashram experience got me that I was in that space because I just sort of allowed life to just unfold. And that ended up being the single most profound, change in my life has been going to that ashram.
Wow. That that's really special. That's really special. And also talk about the retreat. Talk about the retreat. Whose idea was about like your meditation? Who ideas for you to do the meditation for the whole retreat? Or did you raise your hand and say that, oh, I wanna do the meditation?
No, I don't necessarily consider myself like a facilitator of like meditations. I just love to share things that have helped me and changed my life, and I just love to share it. And Anna, who is part of the program, but also with HSA, had reached out to me. I'm not sure. I feel like Julia had something to do with it, that my name got on the radar. But I'm not sure how my name got on the radar, but she reached out to me and asked me if I'd be interested in facilitating this meditation and the first day of the retreat. And it was so special to be able to just share something that I love so much. And it's just so special to me. And I just want everyone else to just feel the sense of like love and peace that I get from meditation and from sharing what I've learned um, at the ashram and through this program, because they both were so aligned. And so it just was a really special moment.
I loved it. Ben would like they volunteer you. So
Yeah,
everybody sign you up because they know that you are the right person.
yeah, it was again, it's allowing life to just kind of unfold and being open to opportunities that come up.
That's right. That just means we have a wonderful group of friends who know what we can do. But
Yes,
like,
and having a supportive community that knows you, and your name will come out at the right time and around the right people.
right. When I heard of you hosting the meditation at at the retreat, I was like, that's right, that was the right
Oh,
person.
thank you.
You know,
Thank
because we learn about, yoga and meditation and breathing during the MA in happiness
you.
program. And I would have no doubt to have somebody to come out and guide people to do meditation or like yoga or like breathing during a retreat. So that's one of the important fact and aspect in during the retreat, I guess. So everybody, I feel like everybody was so into it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was so special. If you were in that room, the energy, the room was overflowing. We couldn't get everybody in there. People were sitting on top of each other, and just like the energy of that room was so special. And it made me break down in tears as we were ending it, because I just didn't expect it to be like this. It was kind of, hey, do you want to do this? Sure, I'll give it a try. And so I just didn't, it was just beautiful. So again, and it also speaks to the support that we have within this, community. All of us that had graduated, those that stayed for the retreat, like everybody kind of came and showed support. And so we're all here. It's like, we created this community that we're all here to help each other and support each other through this journey. A lot of us have already established programs within this field. Some of us have no idea what we're doing. Some of us are getting started, but like we're all here to kind of help support each other and be like the biggest, fans and cheerleaders on the sidelines, being like, you can do it, we got you, you're doing amazing. And it's really nice to have that support.
yeah. Um, that's the reason why I want to do this Zoom so bad. Um, it's because I know that we all want to come together. All want to help each other, but we don't have a tool to do it. And all we have to do is just like speak up and do it. So I got another question for you from Jessie Finley. Hi, Vero. I have a question. At the time you meditating, do you think that is connect us to flow state? Have you ever felt flow state before? Good question.
That is a really good question. You know, um, yeah, I mean, I think flow state is also meditation when you're doing anything that brings you joy. You can be in the flow state and you can be in meditation when you're painting, when you're cooking, when you're spending time with your child, just anything that lights you up and brings you the sense of joy that, time doesn't exist and it just kind of flows. I think also one of the important things about meditation is kind of understanding that a lot of times we can get caught up, especially in the beginning, of like wanting it to be a certain experience, and you want it to feel like, you're transcending, and you want it to feel like you want it to have like all these experiences, but that's not what meditation is. And a lot of times that can just be like your ego coming up and getting involved in it and wanting it to be a certain way. And meditation I would just recommend like flow state you can achieve through anything that brings you joy. And when you're meditating, the focus is just that one single pointed awareness and single pointed focus, whether it's your breathing, whether it's a mantra, just something that gives you that single pointed focus, and that's it. And you don't have to sort of search for anything else, want a different type of experience. Just if you're sitting there for those 5-10 minutes even, and just focusing on your breathing or doing some sort of mantra or whatever, you're meditating, and you don't need to find some other state of that. If you can get into a flow state, that's great, but you can also achieve that through other means as well. So a lot of times people get caught up with meditation, like, oh, I didn't feel this or I didn't feel that. Like, great, then you're doing it the right way. Like, it should just be something that, gives you a chance to, again, so often in our day, we're multitasking, we're running from here, we're doing this. It's just a chance for you to just be single pointed focus. And Tal talks a lot about that as well. And when we talk about meditation.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. And we also learn about the flow state in the program as well. Have
Mm-hmm.
you ever heard of the flow state before? Ever?
I did actually. I did hear a lot about it. I played a lot of sports growing up, so we've talked about that. Also, I recommend the movie Soul if you haven't seen it in Disney. Oh, it references the flow state so perfectly. Someone that is playing a piano or playing an instrument that, or just doing something that brings you so much joy that you just get onto this. You don't even know what's happening, and you know, hours have gone by, and you're just like, oh wait, what happened? So I think flow state is such a beautiful state to be in when your soul is such at peace that nothing else matters.
That's a wonderful animation that I love as well. So, is that your final project? So did you do so?
I was going to do it actually, but I changed it to a poem on self-love relating to the emotional principle that a healthy relationship with yourself creates a healthy relationship with others. Um, and so it was a poem by Adam Broa called You Are Who You've Been Looking For. And if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. It's like a spoken word type thing. So beautiful and so powerful. And highly recommend You Are Who You've Been Looking For by Adam Broa.
Do you by chance remember the poem?
I wouldn't even do it justice, but it's so powerful. But it talks about how, because I hear it's not something that I read, like even you want to see the video. So that's why I'm like, there's no way I can even do it justice from how he says it. But it's all this sense of like, you do all these external factors. A lot of times we look on externally to validate ourselves, um, and that search often leads within, or sometimes we can be giving others so much grace and positive affirmations and saying all these amazing things about them, but how do we talk about ourselves? And we can be our harshest critic. And so the whole poem is the idea of like, you don't have to search for things outside. You don't have to, go all these other places. Like, you are who you've been looking for, and you're the best person.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a really beautiful poem. What did you do yours on?
I did Forrest Gump.
Nice.
It's about like the whole being, Um, I found out that he had everything. He had everything. It doesn't seem like he had everything, but he got everything that he needs.
Yeah.
And he connect to people through his passion. Sometimes it's just randomly he want to run, and I thought like it's randomly, but it's very much like because he had this drive in him, and it's connect all the dots.
Mm.
Um, Interesting fact, we have like in Vietnam right now, they have it's appeared that there's a person who is not a venerable. He doesn't call himself a monk or venerable. He said that he practiced Buddha teaching. Um, he practiced the Buddha teaching by doing exactly like the Buddha did. So he asked his parents the permission to leave the house and practice what Buddha had done. And so he had been working for the past 6 years. Um, he had been working all over Vietnam for 4 times already in the past 6 years. And somehow recently they discover him through like social media, like people on YouTube and TikTok. They found him and they decide to make this guy into like as a celebrity. And and just like that, just like Forrest Gump, he felt like he has to what he has to do this, and somehow people uh, believe in his passion, and everybody go with him. Since the day that everybody discover him on social media, within a week, you saw people walk behind him, walk with him, and the whole street was full of people walking. So he kept like motivate people
Oh,
doing that.
wow. That
It's a
is
big thing right
fascinating.
now in
Oh,
Vietnam,
I'm going to look into that.
and then a lot of monks from India, they after they heard from this specific person,
Hmm.
they decide to fly to Vietnam to see him in person as well.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's kind of like a national news.
And
Yeah,
this is going on now?
it's going on now, but it's kind of calmed down now. Since I would call him a monk. Since Minh Tuệ, his name is Minh Tuệ. Xin Minh Tuệ asked people kindly to not following him for the past, like week or so. Keep asking people to just like go home, and if they want to walk with him, just stand by on the street and
Hmm.
cheer for him, but not like go with him because mm, very much you will see like the whole street with full of people walking out on the street. But sometimes people just like sitting on like outside waiting for him, and it's kind of like an parade, It's kind of
Yeah.
like the parade, yeah, like that.
That's it's so funny. So often, so many people are looking for someone to follow, and so looking for someone to help guide them through a lot of things that they're feeling on the inside. So a lot of times it's easier to, again, always focusing on the external. It's easier to like follow somebody or latch onto someone or like, make somebody this idol when we have it all within us. Like Glenda the Good Witch says in The Wizard of Oz, it was always within you.
Yeah, exactly. But I love everything that we have learned throughout the MA program, especially the coaching part. Earlier, Julia and Antro mentioned about the coaching. What we learn from this program, and we also learn how to coach, and we learn multiple styles of coaching. Did you find yourself, a specific style that you love?
So the coaching thing was interesting because I never really considered myself to be a coach or was not something that I was looking to doing. And so when we had to learn about it and coach others, it was definitely uncomfortable for me, especially because I know there's so many great coaches and I ended up getting so close with Julia and she's just this amazing coach. I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to, you know, do this. It was what was fascinating about it. And I loved how Tall always, he just put little pieces along the way. And sometimes you're doing it and you're like, what does this make sense? Like it does, how is this all part of it? And then, you end up graduating, you're seeing like how it all really does come together. And so as we were learning about the coaching piece of it, and it definitely was dragging my feet in the beginning. But the more you got into it and the more we learned about different methods and you try one and maybe one doesn't resonate, you try another one and then you're doing it with your partner and your fellow student and then they're also struggling as well. And so you kind of all relate with together and it starts getting a little easier. But in terms of like the methods, I really loved hearing about like ACT, the acceptance and commitment therapy. That one really resonated with me. And the philosophical coaching, which surprisingly did because I never really quite considered myself anywhere close to like philosophy and found it very overwhelming. But then when we started reading about it and started reading out loud too, and I was like, oh, well, this guy I read about and I really, resonate with him. Oh, he's part of philosophical coaching. Well, I do that regularly anyway. So it was nice to kind of see it all together. So I think if I had to like put my spin on it, it would be incorporating those two. I don't necessarily know if I would do it, but I think those two are the ones that resonated the most.
I love art and I love philosophical coaching
Yeah,
as
those are the
well.
ones worked with you.
Um, I found appreciative coaching work with me, but at the same time, I also learned about philosophical coaching through our teacher from Vietnam, in
Mm.
Vietnam. So, and we did not know what style he was teaching until, I get a chance to learn about all of the style. And then I could be, at that time, I was like, okay, this is what he does. And then he also combined a few techniques together as well. And that's what I love about Tao. It's when I, like throughout my life, when I learned from other teacher and master, it was like, you should not use my style. You cannot use my style. You cannot use my material to teach other and to do this and do that. But Tao is so
He was
open.
like, yeah, share here, share. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was like, please share and then just like make the best out of this, use my material and use other people's material,
Hmm.
combine and make your material. It was so welcoming and so generous.
Yeah. Yeah, because his focus is more on just creating this movement in the world of where people can live in the state that is more, brings them more joy and happiness versus something that's much more like self-centered and for him. And so I think that's also really beautiful that the movement is so much bigger than who he is. And
Mm.
that's what he really wants us to do, is create a movement within this field that can really help everybody and not just himself. So yeah, he's definitely a pioneer in that.
Yeah, that's right. Again, so remember, we love hearing from you, our lovely audience. So feel free to share your comments and question and raise your hand if you want. And I saw that everybody had been chatting in the chat box. But if you have any question or if you want to interact with Vero, you can always raise your hand and ask her question, especially for friends and who have been taken the certificate program and now they want to learn they want to sign up to be in the MA program, but they don't know what to ask and they don't know where to ask or who to ask. Before
And
anybody else have question, if you can give us some ideas, some thought of the certificate to the MA program, feel free to share with us there.
actually didn't do the certificate.
Oh, you did that. Okay.
No, I didn't. But I was going to ask you, how did you come? Because how did you find this? Did you do the certificate?
No, not at all. I found the certificates really useful for us because right now I have a chance to have Vietnamese community to learn, to start the journey, to start the MA in happiness journey, and also like certificates in happiness. I found the certificate program is so useful to all of us, especially if they don't know what's going on with the MA program and they don't want to pay for the MA program yet.
Hmm.
They can join the certificate because all of the core principle from the of happiness, um, we learn in the certificate program. And we also learn that in our lecture in the so our 501 and like 500 and 501 or something like that. All of the material is the same with the core lecture from the certificate.
Hmm.
And to add 501 and 503. So we had to learn everything that all of the student from the certificate learn as well. Because that's kind of the foundation of happiness study. So regardless on if you are learning in the certificate program or the MA program, you have to learn the 501 and 503 because that is the foundation, that is the root of happiness study. Yeah.
And how did you come across the program?
So I was in another community. I was in a coaching community in Vietnam, and I was actually I was in the class to learn to become a mentor in another community. And then the founder of that community was like, "Oh, I found this program, and it's like the first MA in happiness study."
Oh,
So if whoever wanna learn about the MA in like the happiness study and more like in the science point of view, this is the program and you can sign up. He even paid for most of the students who sign up to be in the MA of happiness study as well. It's a very generous man. But yeah. Who's looking after Bella Luna? Ben.
I know. I was saying, I was like, "Where's Lemonade?"
Yeah, where's Lemonade? We so thankful to Lemonade. We take some time from her, but we are thankful that she share her time with us.
Yes, this was great to talk about it and be able to. I'm really excited about like hearing everyone's story and how this program that you're launching is going to really help support other graduates and people looking into doing this. And I think it's a great launching pad for a lot of cool things. So thank you for kicking it off.
Hello, Jojo.
And Jojo. Can't forget Jojo, who's a little baby when this all started, and now look at him. He's a little newborn.
He's so rolled up. We have a few baby in our MA program. As you know, we become a family. We become auntie and uncle to all of the kids. And I hope that all the MA program they also feel like home when they take this program, and they feel like home, and they can start talking to each other like we do now today.
Yeah, and I think also like if you're thinking about doing it, you may think that you don't have time, or how are you going to fit into your schedule? What are you going to do? And it's going to work out. Like if it's something that's your soul calling, like it's definitely something you need to consider and just have faith that your life is gonna like fall into place. And like I actually couldn't really even get too involved within the program until this last semester of how life worked out. And so, I was able to just jump in and out and somehow make my assignments every Sunday, like as my life would be like blowing up, and somehow I'd be in there submitting my homework. But you still have the support around you, even if it's from your small hack group. And then, this last semester that I was able to be much more fully present, and able to get in touch with people. You get out of it and the community that you're going to find.
Yeah. Personally, I did not know Vero until, kind of like halfway in, and she appeared in, our weekly chat. So that's how you connect to people. You don't have to commit, but when you know people, you start commit. You start feeling like this is home, and you want to commit.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I got a smart question from Giovanni for you. Hi, Vero. What three books do you recommend for people to read, get more familiar with spirituality?
Oh, so many. Gosh, so many good books. I know. I mean, I think I've had Giovanni buy like 10 already. Number one book that they say comes to you. They say this book comes to you. So if it resonates with you, great, is A Course in Miracles. Course in Miracles. That book changed my life. I recommend it. I heard of it. I bought it. I think it was on my nightstand for months until I started reading it. And it's just it's a very, very intense book. but it comes to you because when you're ready to read it, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So when you're ready to read it, that book will resonate. Lao Tzu, 100%. Although I would say for Lao Tzu, the Wayne Dyer book that I recommended on Monday's class, if you Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life by Wayne Dyer. It's based on the teachings of Lao Tzu. He takes one verse and meditates on that. He did it throughout a year, and then he applies that verse to your day-to-day practical life and how you can do the Tao in the 21st century. And my third book, gosh, there's so many, but I think just because I started diving into it recently, and it's again blew my mind, as the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. That one is just even the first Yoga Sutra, which is in essence that after all fails, and now yoga. Like after you've tried everything that you can do, and you've tried doing it your way, now you can do it this way. And just that first sentence alone had me hooked. So yeah,
Well,
so many.
we are in a community of book lover.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like the more we talk about book, the more book that you're going to you'll be here of, because there's so many books that even every time that I got a chance to talk to Tao, he was like, you can read this book from Marvel College.
Yeah. Yeah, we're always reading so many books.
Yeah, thank you so much. I saw so many
Ay,
comment on here.
veo una colombiana. Hola.
Hola, Vero, un placer.
Hola. Qué chévere.
Sí,
Ah,
súper.
yeah. Hello from where are you? Where are you from?
Nelly?
Nelly, yeah.
Oh, hi guys.
Hello. Hi.
I'm in the master's program and I'm from the second cohort.
Second
Oh,
known. Welcome.
Yes, I'm so excited to be
yeah.
here. And I did not know that Vero was Colombian. So it is
Oh,
exciting and I'm so proud of you and all the work that you've done and all the wisdom that you're sharing with us. And it is amazing. So inspiring. So thank you for being
Awesome. Where do you
here.
live?
In
In Colombia?
Texas,
Oh, in Texas.
Texas.
Awesome. Cool. I was going to say, if you're in Miami, we have a Miami group
I
hanging
know
out.
Javier is here
Yes.
too.
Hola, Javier. We were going
Colombiano de corazón.
to we were going to try and do a Miami meetup. So, which is another thing. You start getting this other local communities, and it's just I'm so excited that you're on this journey and all the opportunities it's going to open up for you, and just even feeling supported emotionally, and it's just it's a great journey that you're starting.
Well, the beauty, Vero, is that, as I mentioned to Nelly before, is that we speak the very same language, which is the language of understanding and love. So we don't have this type of communication breakdowns. So
Yeah.
it's very interesting because once you go outside of the group, it's kind of like a challenge. It's a different language, even though it's the same language, it's a different values. So you kind of get lost in translation. And that's the beauty of this type of group, that you can share the same language, that you can build whatever you propose to do, because we share and we go with the same purpose.
Yeah, that's so true. So often Giovanni and I have talked about this. It's like we don't often know who we can talk to about these things, because the community that you're usually with is, it's been a different one. And so now that you're able to find like-minded souls that you can share books and share teachings and share learnings and all these different concepts has just been such a blessing, and to have everyone here.
Yeah.
that's what I love. That's why I like to start this journey with all of you. It's because we feel like home as whenever we join a retreat. Doesn't matter who we know. Maybe we don't know anybody, but we can start having a conversation with anyone.
Mhm.
And the minute that we start a conversation, we feel like, okay, I can connect, to this person, or this person can connect to me, because we have this common, like this similarity mindset, and like just same interest. and this is so important. But I want to ask Nelly a question. How do you feel when you joined the MA in Happiness program at the second cohort?
Well, I would say I felt very similar to Vero. I was searching for something. I was eager to get a lot of these big life questions that I had. So when I first joined the masters, little by little, I started finding on my own, and also by learning from all this, either through research or through me search, or just learning from all these wonderful wisdoms and philosophers that we've been learning. I started, I guess, completing my own puzzle. And it's a puzzle that is a journey. So it would take probably a lifetime to find all the answers that at least I'm looking for, but it is so rewarding and amazing just to be able to do that. Because one of the things that I always say to people is, I learned how to make a living when I was in school, in high school and in college, but I never learned how to lead a good life. How can I be happier? How can I live a healthy, more fulfilling life? And how can I make a difference? Right? That's the part of the equation that I recently just learned, and I'm 33, but I am so thankful that I got to learn that now. And it's amazing. And I wish everybody will have the chance to also learn that too.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's
It was
beautiful.
well said.
Mhm.
Really, I'm 63, so you have 30 more years of learning because I'm still learning.
That's right. I was about to say that 33 is a new 20,
Yeah.
maybe new 10 years old. You never know. We are still learning.
Javier, you gotta ask something to Javier, because he is full of wisdom, and he has this infomercials that he's always, just throwing his nuggets of wisdom in the class, and I love it.
But actually, I was telling Nelly, it's not that I have wisdom, it's that I have years.
I saw you Javier all the time in the certificate program. And are you also taking the MA in Happiness program?
Yes, I'm a classmate of Nelly. We're in the same cohort. And the thing is that the certificate was kind of like a prelude. It was an incentive to go into the masters, So I went through that, and it helped me. It gave me the motivation to continue. And I wish, more people had access to such a beautiful program. But that's my desire. I wish others what I wish for myself,
Yeah, and well, just even the impact that you're going to be able to make on your social circle and those around you by having taken this is going to be profound.
just your immediate family, you impact them whether you like it or not. It's just by being yourself, you're impacting your inner circle, and then hopefully, the outer circles as well.
Exactly. And that's why they say that change starts from within. Like you start creating that change from within, and not so many times we focus on external. We want to change this person. We want to do this. If they would only do this, and why can't they be like this? But like, no, the change starts from within, and these things that we're doing, and these conversations that we're having, and the program that we're taking, and this, the degree and the changes that we're able to help make. It's all because we want to do that change.
That's true. And I'm so thankful for all of you. I expect people would join, but I don't know that we have, we have family meeting today. Like MA in Happiness first cohort and second cohort, and hopefully like the third cohort will join us too, in the future. But before the time is about to end, so before we go, I would like to maybe ask for, a key value that, like, the most important key value that you, Vero, learned from this whole journey. And if you could ever share a wisdom to anyone, like from a baby, from a a 10 years old baby to, an adult 75 years old. If you can tell them a key value, what would you say? Thank you.
Gosh, how do you sum up program with just one thing? That's really tough. I think something that probably really stands out for me from Tal is when he talks about a lot about when you appreciate the good appreciates. And it's just this idea of just, focusing on, what's going well in your life. And even the book that I recommended from Wayne Dyer, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. If you change the way you see things, the things that you see begin to change. So all these ideas of focusing on the good and appreciating that, you'll see more of that within your life. And then if I can impart any sort of tiny morsel of something that advice that I would recommend is meditate. Meditate. It changed my life. I was somebody that was very emotionally volatile, be a little bit of that spicy Latina. And so I was just always like very, could be from very happy to very angry to very sad to very like all over the place. And my life was all over the place and I was very chaotic. And what I felt in the inside was manifested externally in my life. And when I found meditation, it has been change overnight. It's been a long journey, but the impact it's made in my life to get me to where I'm at now, to be able to have these conversations. And I can see my life changing because of the people that I'm surrounding myself with and the people that are coming into my energy field. And so I know that, and these are all people that are more reflective of who I want to be, people that are curious and they're authentic and they're peaceful and they're joyful. Like those are the qualities that I add. And they say with meditation, like, oh well, what have you gained from meditation? And then there's something that they said they had asked the Buddha, and the Buddha says, well, I've gained nothing, but what I can tell you what I've lost. And I've lost anger, and I've lost jealousy, and I've lost despair, and I've lost all these other things. So what I would recommend is meditation. It can really change your life.
That's beautiful. And I hope that after the Zoom, if anybody who don't know how to meditate or need to have a, meditation buddy, you can call Vero.
Call me. I would love to meditate with you. I'll do breathing practices. I'll do some sound healing. It'll be beautiful. I'm always looking for a meditation partner.
Yeah, but it's so important, the reason why I did not learn how to meditate earlier is because every time that I ask somebody, should I learn how to meditate? And those people, they were like, no, you should not because it's so dangerous. They thinking about, when you are when you meditate without a guide, a teacher, in fact, it's quite dangerous because they are thinking about like something spiritually. As you know, like Asian, we are all very much into like prestigious and like spiritual stuff. So they are very they concern about, when you meditate and when you let your body just like free with barrier, and then they can come in and take over your body, thing like that, but we don't have to talk about that.
No, that's what I was saying. Don't worry about meditation isn't a specific thing that you have to achieve. It's just single pointed focus. Just focus on your breathing. That's it. And it just it gives you a moment of silence and stillness throughout your day. And that's all it is.
Yeah. I see Javier.
Yes, I just wanted to mention maybe that fear comes from your surrounding because you are becoming a different person and nobody wants change. You don't want the person next to you to change. Nobody wants change except a wet baby. So maybe it's because the fear that the persons around you are changing, that you are changing, that creates a threat. Possibly that's the only thing that I can think of. And I appreciate, Vero, your insight on meditation, because I was basically thinking in terms of being grateful as one of my keystone habits. But the fact if you are grateful about life, and that will lead you into meditation because you are
Yep.
so thankful of life that you get
Yep.
into meditation, because it's so worthwhile. You appreciate life. So you get into meditation and you get into physical exercise, because you appreciate what you have. That's good.
That's great. Meditation just allows you moment in time to connect with yourself, to have a moment of stillness, and it makes you more mindful and more aware of externally when you're living in the external world because you have a moment for yourself. And so that's really all it is. It isn't anything, sometimes it can be very overwhelming meditation. It's not at all.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm so thankful that I know all of you, and also like learning from all smartest and humblest people on earth. I learned so much, especially like through reading, meditation, and all of the techniques that we can learn to help us to be more balanced and more mindfulness. I feel like the world needs more of us, and I'm so thankful to Vero today for bringing up this this topic. That is the reason why I love to invite all of the MA, the graduate student to the Zoom, just because everybody have a specific need and target, and also like belief and practice. So each of us is an open book, and we can share to each other and remind each other, and also like maybe just like Nelly and Javier, creating a community with Vero for meditation and affirmation, and also like appreciation together for Latin, for South America, just like for South America market. I feel like it's so neat. And I personally love the language, and I love the countries as well. So if in the future, one day, if all of you create something, please invite me and everybody's in the Zoom, because we love to visit your country, and we love to learn
Absolutely.
about your country and your culture as well.
And thank you, Jasmine, for taking the initiative to kick off this program. I know it's going to probably evolve to something super fantastic. This is, the first one, and someone needed to get it started. And so really appreciate you creating this platform and giving us an opportunity to share. And hopefully it gets other people really excited about joining, and all of us coming together to be that change we want to see in the world.
Yeah. So give me 1 second. So there's a question before we go. There's a question I just remember. I want to ask you the final question before I let you go, and then have everybody return to their family and loved ones. So if you can choose anyone in your 2024 class to be a guest on the next episode of Whole Being Journey, who would it be and why?
Wow, there's so many good people.
I know.
Yeah, I'm looking at two names right here. One, I mean, my guy, Giovanni, like, he's such a powerful story, his journey to here, his journey to healing. But I'm sure, he was probably at the top of the list. Jojo, will you be willing to share your story with us next?
You're a tough act to follow there, Vero. I probably should have been first, if anything. Absolutely. I mean, I'd love sharing anything that can help other people get to realize themselves. And I feel like I have been through so many lives in my short 40 years that, whatever I can say, if I can say anything, hopefully it can resonate with someone. I just feel like I don't want to change people. I just want to tell people who I am authentically and how I got here on this
Mhm.
path. So
Grab your popcorn. That is going to be such a great conversation. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I have a great experience with Giovanni as well.
I might have whiskey. I don't know about popcorn, but
Fair enough.
it's
It's so deep that you have to I don't know, maybe learn how to dive. That's the reason why we learn how to breathe today, so we can dive in more.
So you can dive in more. Yeah, we're going to need some deep breaths for that deep conversation.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I saw all face today. I saw Julia, I saw Audrey, I saw you know, everybody who's joining in earlier, Leslie and Virginia. I saw all of the wonderful story from everybody. And my goal is not just me being the host. It eventually in the future I want to invite like Vero and Giovanni, even Julia, Nelly, Javier, Audrey, and everybody to be, you know, the host. So you personally can invite your best friend. You know, you can invite your best friend to be on the show, and you can, you know, talk to your best friend and share with us what you two learn from each other and what you have learned and what you grow out, you know, this beautiful cocoon into a beautiful butterfly. So that is my original thought. That's why I had to kick up this program, and that's why I asked Yuval for a permission to host this show. And I'm so thankful for Yuval and Aviat and, you know, Tao and everybody in XSA to support me. And also thanks to Ben for creating this beautiful environment for us, just because he take care of Bella. That's why I can be here and talk to everybody. Otherwise, I would be in the background and listen to everybody. So I'm thankful to baby Bella, Luna, and thankful to Ben, and thankful to everybody who joined us today and will listen to this recording again. Um, because of you, that's why I'm here today. Without you, I'm not here today. And so that's why we are here, and that's why that is why we will become a family, and that is the whole purpose. So
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, exactly. Ubuntu. We learn about Ubuntu, and hopefully in the future we can hear about Ubuntu from Julia. I'm sure she will have a lot of wisdom from Ubuntu. Also from, you know, like other wisdom that she have, because she's have full of like wisdom in her.
Mm.
And again, I'm so thankful to Vero. Vero is the like number one person that I'm thankful for, just because she's say yes when I ask, and she say yes. And if she did not say yes, I'm sure I can ask other people, but I'm so thankful to her because she said yes. Like she had no doubt when I asked her. She has no clue and no idea what we would start, but she was like, yes. So I'm so
Anything for you, Jasmine. Thank you again for this opportunity. I'm glad we were able to chat.
Yeah, I'm so thankful to Vero. Vero has so much wisdom in her. Whatever she shared today, it's just like not even on the surface. She has so much to offer. If you have a chance to talk to her, and if you want to connect with her, please do, because she's open. She can give you a lot of insider in, like, you know, astrology and, you know, other thing as well, meditation, everything about like spirituality, spiritual well-being, you know, intellectual well-being. She's all in it. So don't hesitate to connect to her, talk to her, and you know, just raise your hand and she will be there for you. I believe it.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Vero. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you again
Thanks,
for being
everyone.
here today. Thank you, everybody. And you will see this recording again. I don't know like where IVF will post it, but you will see this recording from the XSA. Thank you so much and have a
Thank
great day.
you. Bye,
See you next
everybody.
week.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye, everyone. This was
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jasmine.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Sarah.